Before we go into this conversation, I would like to plead with you, click on the share button and share this video. Help us to grow the community, help us to reach those that we cannot reach. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Welcome to the End Time Truth Television. Okay, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus. How are you doing today? God bless you. I just want to quickly bring about this response from Pastor Jerry Eze. Why I want to do it is, is that this is a season where every pastor responds to every pastor. Even when pastors speak in parables, you always know that this one is talking to this one and that one is talking to that one. And sometimes it happens even among close friends. And, most recently it has been a war of words between some pastors and Ebe Damina, when the pastors will speak and they make references to messages. Ebe Damina will return, fire for fire and all that. Well, it is good. I'm going to make a video on that because actually it is not all bad. It is not all wrong. When I make the video, you'll understand why I think it is not completely wrong. But the only pain I have is that majority of our pastors are leaving the things that they should have done and are focusing on things that don't matter. It is okay. We can disagree doctrinally. We can disagree, but then it shouldn't call for a fight. But when somebody is intentionally twisting the scriptures, well, I'm part of those that believe that that person should be attacked with words, so not physical attack. I mean, you attack that ideas of the person, not the person, but the ideas of the person. And sometimes when you see people who speak with passion, they are misunderstood to be directly attacking the personality of the persons involved, but it is never so. Anyway, it is horrible that while these distractions are taking place, all over the globe, while these distractions are taking place around us, the people of the other religion are busy, taking charge, and they are actually trying to encroach on the church. Although my comfort and consolation lies on the fact that Jesus said that even the very gates of hell shall not prevail against the church. Before I bring you the response of Pastor Jerry Eze to those that taunted him, I'd like to show you this video so that you will understand what I am saying. The Muslims are quickly and they are speedily advancing, and buying churches, places that used to be churches, they are taking over it. That is why you should celebrate Jesus, that a pastor could gather thousands of people to fill a stadium. That is a feat, not by the man, but that the Lord is trying to show something that revival is about happening. But we're going to look at that revival because not just gathering crowds, we must also know the kind of crowds that we are gathering. So listen to this Islamic cleric.
You are welcome to the End Time Truth Television, the channel for the lovers of truth, for the truth of the end time. So if you are a lover of truth, give us a subscription and God bless you. Shalom.
A lot of Christians are leaving their faith, especially the young generation. The churches are emptying out. The Pew Research Center has shown that in the last 10 years, 28% of people have left the church and became atheists or agnostic. They're not anymore impressed by the dogma that someone 2,000 years ago was crucified for their sins. They're searching for something that's more meaningful, that's consistent with science and consistent with the principles that we know today. Islam is the answer for them. And we are jumping on the opportunities that as these churches empty out, instead of spending larger amounts of money to build our masjids, we are buying these churches. We bought 3 churches so far, converted them to masjids, and now we have one we are buying with the school to make it, because we have to serve the same people. The people who were part of that community, one day they will be Muslims. So we'll make it into a masjid and an Islamic school for our children and their children, inshallah. 100 years ago, they invaded the Muslim world and they built missionary schools and destroyed Islamic schools and masjids. Today, we bring the favor back, turn their churches into masjids and their schools into Islamic schools. Bring the light of Islam to here. We're able to buy ready to go institutions that have been there for a long time, but they emptied out. And now it is time to be filled with Muslims, with reverts, converts. This is an election year, but we're not going to be happy with either candidate. We have to be happy when Islam becomes the best candidate for us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give Islam the victory in this country, in our hearts, in our families, in our nation.
All right. You are welcome. So that's, maybe you don't understand that. That tells you that in this dying world, the world is dying. You know, we have pride campaigners everywhere, pride crusaders everywhere. They crusade for pride, they campaign for their community, the LGBT community. And, you know, nobody does anything against that. And sometimes you see preachers on the street who have had harmed no one, they are being arrested. And in that same community, in such an environment, happens to be where a black man was able to gather thousands of, you know, people, congregants, to come and pray. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll get to the point. In as much as I say we should appreciate that, we don't have to celebrate, you know, the people dispensing the characters of Satan. Now, recently, Burna Boy, you know, filled a stadium, I think somewhere in America, and these same people who are castigating Jerry Eze, they celebrated it. We've seen, I said, in the last video, people like Rihanna, Beyonce, Jay-Z, they are the ones filling stadiums. This was known with Christianity in the past. You know, before Jimmy Swaggart had his problem, he was one of those that there was no stadium in those days that you put a program that Jimmy Swaggart would attend, and you would not see people. You know, Pastor Kumi, he also, you know, his first crusade that he did was at the National Stadium, and people gathered. Now, so many, you know, people then would fill the stadium, but these days, because of certain things and the end time is here, people are no longer interested. And you remember Jesus said, however, when the Son of Man shall return, shall he still find faith on earth? So these are the things you look at, and first and foremost, appreciate God that such a feat happened. That is one. Now, secondly, if anybody would criticize, let it be that, okay, having gathered those crowds, how many of, that crowd, how many of the people amongst the crowd gave their lives to Jesus? How many of them went home knowing that Jesus has been presented to them? I didn't watch the programs. I didn't listen to the messages. I didn't know the kind of messages that were preached. So if anybody should pick, holes from that, let it be that the person is concerned that people are not just gathered just for the sake of gathering for miracles and what have you. Let it be that the Jesus who the pastor went in his name was also introduced and given to the people. That makes it much more qualitative. Now, what was the message that was preached? What kind of things were given to the people? Did they just gather in order to receive from God and not giving their lives over to God? Because it will be a monumental failure if such crowds gathered and they were not given Jesus. Because we cannot assume that everybody who came to that crusade ground already knew Jesus. And if they had known Jesus already, what were the messages, the words that were given to them for them to retain their salvation? Retain the miracles that they have received. You know why? Miracles should not be the focal point, because even Satan does miracles. They perform magic, right? They do things that, like Daddy Freeze in that his criticism actually sounded like the devil. He sounded like when the devil was asking Jesus to throw himself down from the mountain because God has given his angels charge over him, that he will not dash his foot against stone. And the Bible said, thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. So asking people to walk on water makes it a bit, satanic. Actually, it was tainted with all forms of mockery, mocking the church. Now, the thing is that if you have been hurt by the society or by the organization called church, God has not harmed you. God has not hurt you. Jesus has not hurt you. Human beings can hurt you, but not God, not Christ. Christ died so that you will not die again. So we should be able to balance these things, okay? Should be able to balance them. So in response, Pastor Jerry Eze stylishly respond to his critics. I think that you need to hear it and see how he responded.
This. Listen, NSPPDians, you will never see this man here reply anybody. I don't have that kind of time. I don't have time. I don't have time. There are more important things to do for God. People of God, look at the arranged miracle. No, she was never on a wheelchair. Look at the parents saying,
So thank you very much. I want to give out this call. If you know that you have received Jesus and there is a tangible miracle that Jesus has done for you in the course of your walk with him, I want to start actually to boost people's faith. We cannot just come and condemn and condemn and condemn and condemn. In the midst of condemning, in the midst of criticizing the fake, what are we doing to also showcase that there are originals too? So if you have a testimony with proof, what God has done for you in any gathering at all, in any gathering, whether it is with the NSPPD or any other church under any minister, bring it forth, bring us your testimonies, bring comfort with your evidence. If you have been sick and you've been attending hospitals, you've been going to hospitals, and there have been, cards and files open for you, because of the case, and eventually you are certified. Okay, for instance, you were suffering HIV/AIDS, and there are tests that could prove it. You have a picture that you took while the sickness was on you, and now you went to a church, or you attended a program, or you listened to a man of God preaching from the television, and you are healed. Bring it forth. We will listen to your testimonies. And once more, I want you to understand, no pastor is the doer of the miracles. No pastor is the maker of the miracles. If you have been healed, the pastor did not heal you. The pastor can be living in immorality, can be living in sin, but God can come to you through your faith. God cannot deny himself just because of the unfaithfulness of a certain person. The Bible said that he should remain true and everyone a lie. All right? But then we cannot, like David, who says out of his hastiness, in haste, he declared that all men are liars. No, all the pastors cannot be fake. All the churches cannot be fake. Now, but again, is that miracle is not an endorsement. That miracle happened is not an endorsement. So I'm not here to endorse anybody. I just want to use this avenue now to boost the faith of people who are dying. Jesus came to set us free, both from the tyranny of the devil, tyranny of Satan, tyranny of sin, and tyranny of self. So his salvation, saves us from the tyranny of the evil one. I hope you understand this. God bless you. And I wait for your comments in the comment section. Thank you so much and stay blessed. One more thing, please. Don't forget that this place is not our home. There is a place that we came from, and we must return necessarily to the God that gave us life in this other side of his creation. God bless you. I will see you in the next video. Till then, from me to you. Shalom.